Okay, working on this picture again. As you can see, we have starting with the hair. I'm just gonna go ahead and use Sakura Micron. You know what? I want to use my Sakura Micron because I know this pin's gonna die. I'm gonna switch that out. Okay. The lighting is kind of bad in here, so the quality may not be great. Now I'm gonna go ahead and ink over the other rag part of his bandage first, because if I do that, I can easily I don't have to worry about the hairs, you know, in front of it if it's already inked. And that is a simple technique actually. That's just something that most people use because it's easier to layer. Now, you see, I'm a traditional artist, so you know, I have to think in layers, and it's the same way you work in Photoshop. You have to work in layers. Okay, I'm gonna get the details of the hair. Now, hair doesn't have to be perfect, and most people think it has to be, and this is just something to get it started with. Now, the idea though is you want to create nice, sharp-looking hair, and if you notice, I'm using that lifting up technique like I talked about in the previous video, to where when I go down, I lift up, and that leaves a nice, sharp look. And then try to do my best to stay as accurate as possible. Now, I'm still trying to get used to this whole camera thing, so forgive me. Now, if you also noticed, I'm also doing the hair in a thinner ink size. The size of the ink really helps. Naturally, I use an 01 size, and that's what I'm using right now, but I'm using Sakura Micron instead of the Millennium Zig. Okay. Now, when you use a smaller size, you really can just create more detail, and of course the line art makes it look different. Now, if you probably just noticed, but the ear, the line art for the ear is a lot thicker than it was for the hair, and that is intentional. And I use the same pen at the same time, so that's what I'm talking about. You can learn how to work with pressure with pens. You can achieve different effects. Okay. Hello. Okay. Moving to the other side. Now, this isn't too complicated. It's just the camera is really annoying me. Okay. Now, again, just sharp, pointed. Okay. If you noticed, I'm holding my pen down, and you see that little dot that it leaves behind? That's what happens when you do that. And I'm going to do it again. And you see, that's proof to show that if you're trying to decide what you're doing, you're going to have little dots like that whenever you're inking. And you don't want that. You don't want it. But with color, you can simply cover it up. But it's just proof to show that you want to think ahead of what you're doing. Excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna try to set this up because I don't think it's gonna work. I highly doubt it's gonna work. You know, let me go get something. I just grabbed my portfolio, and let's just see if I can set up. I don't think it will hold against the desktop. I really doubt. But yeah, it doesn't matter what you're using. You want to use a nice hard surface. And I should have done that before. Alright, now getting the small minor details in the hair above his eye. See. Now, if you notice, they're moving. They're like moving, and that's because I want them to look like that they are being held down by the bandage across his head. Okay, and I filled in the top part of the eye. Okay, do his other ear. Yeah, I know that's not the way how you fill in an ear, but I don't really care at the moment. Okay, I'm gonna add an earring just because details matter, and I'm probably a little gauge. Like I said, I'm making this up as I go. Okay, and this is where things get a little bit not tricky, but just important. You see the hair? I'm going to be drawing. Fill it in a little bit. Fill in the little missing gaps in between the picture. That way the hair looks at least somewhat complete. And I'm going to ink the bandage. See that? It's underneath it, and because the hair is over it, it's really going to be something else. Alright, trying to figure out what I'm doing. Okay. I'm going to do little dashes and very light marks in order to show, at least give some sort of effect that it is underneath the hair. And there we go, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's what I'm working on. And very light marks. And I'm going to do the same thing when I color it. I'm going to do the hair first, and then I'm going to do the bandage. Okay, computer. Okay. Okay, let's see. What else can I do? Gonna fill in the eyebrow. I'm not doing it all the way, but it looks nicer. Let's see. I know I have to fix the hair on the. There we go. A little bit. Now I'm going to add more details in the hair whenever I color it, and because you don't want to leave everything up to ink. You want to at least have some sort of leeway. Alright, got final details of the hair, and I'm done. Alright, time to color. Bye.